the recent injuries at defensive back in the defensive back room for the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions reportedly, now this is according to Woodward Sports Network. I'm gonna trust them here. They have put out stuff in the past. They have over 70,000 subscribers on YouTube. Very popular sports network brand. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but they do put out legitimate stuff out there. Per sources, the Detroit Lions have reached out to former Houston Texans cornerback Steven Nelson. The Lions have been in contact with veteran corners over the past couple of weeks with injuries piling up in the secondary. Now, this is very interesting to me. Steven Nelson is not in the NFL right now. He is retired. He retired this offseason. Had a career year with the Texans last season. Absolutely balled out of his mind. He was one of my targets in my video I made for Lions targets free agents in 2024. He was one of them. He was a free agent for a couple of weeks before he retired. The guy, I believe, is 30 years old. Very talented cornerback, like legitimately. He's a very talented cornerback, especially last year. He had a very, very good season. Was playing like a top 10 corner last season. Former third-round pick by Kansas City in 2015. He has 374 solo tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 13 interceptions, and 78 passes deflected throughout his NFL career. Last season, he played every single game, had 63 total tackles, and 4 interceptions, a career year again, with 12 passes deflected. The year before that, he missed 2 games, 52 total tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, and an interception with 7 passes deflected. And his other best season in his career that you could argue was better than last season was in 2018 with the Chiefs. He played every single game, 68 total tackles, and 4 interceptions with 15 passes deflected. So Steven Nelson is very interesting to me. I would be down for signing him 100%. Obviously, this is due with Ennis Rakestraw getting placed on injured reserve. He'll be out 4 weeks. Potentially won't be back until the playoffs. Fatu Malafano getting placed on IR once again. And then Mosley potentially still not being ready 100% to go into a major role yet in the defensive secondary. So I would be thrilled about this, honestly. He's not going to cost much. He's probably not going to cost more than $2-3 million. Since we're more than halfway through the season now, he's not going to cost more than $2-3 million. And he wouldn't be like Shaq Barrett, where he would have to. The Dolphins would have to make a decision with Shaq Barrett since they signed him this offseason when he retired. So they had the first major option at him if they want to bring him back or not. Texans don't have that because he was a free agent. He never signed with the team before he retired, so he's not subject to that. So, Steven Nelson, would you sign him? Leave those comments down below. Now, they also said that the Lions have reached out to other veteran corners in the secondary. And I think another guy that could be very interesting is, yes, I know I can't believe you're mentioning this guy in 2024, Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson would bring great mentorship to the room and some veteran DB leadership as well, and just have good depth in the secondary. Now, Patrick Peterson, one of the better corners in NFL history. He did not have a great year last year. It says he's on the Steelers here. He's not. He is definitely not on the Steelers now. He's currently a free agent. The guy is really old. Probably the oldest. I think he is the oldest defensive back in the NFL besides Kareem Jackson. He's 34 years old, 6'1", 203. Former 5th overall pick in 2011 by the Cardinals. Last season, 34 solo tackles, 0 forced fumbles, 2 picks, 11 passes deflected. Did not have a bad year last year, just not like he had the year prior, where he absolutely balled out with the Minnesota Vikings. Played every single game, 66 total tackles, 5 interceptions, and 15 passes deflected. And his best career season probably came in his second year, where he played every single game at 55 total tackles, 1 fumble recovery, and 7 interceptions with 16 passes deflected. And the guy has had an interception every single season of his NFL career, which is extremely hard to do for a cornerback. So Patrick Peterson, he's played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years in his NFL career, has 36 interceptions. I believe he is number 1 in the NFL in terms of free agents and players on current teams and interceptions in their NFL career. It's him or Harrison Smith right now. Harrison Smith might have him beat. I'm not sure on that, but he's number 1 or number 2 in the NFL in current interceptions by a current player. The guy is very talented. Now, there are other guys out there as well. Xavier Howard, I don't think he fits the culture here. That's why I'm not going to mention him in this video in terms of pulling up his stats and stuff like that. He could be an option. Plus, I think he's going to want to start somewhere. He's not going to start here. Patrick Peterson, I think he's realized if he wants to play on another Super Bowl team, he's going to be on the bench. He's going to be a death piece. Same with Steven Nelson. Steven Nelson could be, a guy who would want to start somewhere. He's not super old. He's 30 years old. But since he just retired, he's clearly, if he's going to come back, he's going to want to come back to win a Super Bowl. So, again, there's other guys out there. Xavier Howard, again, I think he's going to want to start, and I just don't think he fits the culture here. There's a couple other guys as well. Jerry Jacobs, he worked out with the Commanders today. It said he had a good workout, so he's most likely going to sign with them tomorrow, but we don't know, obviously. But I don't want Jerry Jacobs anywhere. There's a couple other guys out there as well as a whole bunch of corners on practice squads. There's one other big guy out there as well. Trey Flowers is out there, the cornerback. Trey Herndon. So there's a couple of guys out there as well that I'd consider signing. There's a lot of safeties still out there. Jamal Adams, Ryan Neal. So the DB free agency class is still very big, very talented, especially in the safety room. And again, I would definitely consider signing Steven Nelson or Pat Pete here. Those are my number 1 and 2 options right now. I'm curious if the Lions are that desperate that they're reaching out to a player who just retired this offseason. Now, again, I don't know if this is legitimate or not. This is not from a legitimate NFL source. It's from Woodward Sports, which does put out true information sometimes, and they're a big brand in general, big sports brand. So I'm going to trust them here. Now, if this is not true, but if it is true, expect some news to come out potentially tomorrow if we sign him, or just the news from the legitimate NFL sources. But yeah, leave your thoughts, comments down below. Would you consider signing one of these guys, or do you just think we should stick with Kendall Vildor, Cole Dorsey, and all of them guys? So leave your thoughts, comments down below, and do you believe this information? I want to know.